Recording live from the Northeast Georgia Business RadioX studio, this is Northeast Georgia Business Radio presented by Regions Bank. Start building your financial confidence at Regions Bank. Member FDIC, an equal housing member. Welcome back, folks, to another exciting edition of Northeast Georgia Business Radio. I'm your host, Thom Sheldon, and yeah, we're coming to you live from the beautiful Empower College and Career Center of Jackson County. I have with me yet another great guest. This guy is like Mr. Community, all right? He volunteers for everything. Recently, he was a 2023 Small Business of the Year in the Jackson County Chamber. The list goes on and on and on. And today, he comes in unselfishly to talk about an organization, a program that he's a part of that's not even his own business. With me today, for Junior Leadership Jackson, Mr. Thom Price. Thom, welcome to the Northeast Studio.
Thom Sheldon, thank you for having me. I appreciate the time here.
Built you up, brother.
You sure did.
But everything's true. Everything is true. Don't laugh. It's true.
Humbly true. Yes, sir.
How many boards do you sit on right now? Like 400?
273.
273. And last year it was like 275. He's cutting back, folks. You doing all right?
I'm doing well, and I'm excited to be here talking about Junior Leadership Jackson today.
Junior Leadership Jackson. How long have you been involved in that program?
So this was a brainchild, Thom, of the Leadership Jackson class of 2021.
Right.
And it emulates the Jackson County Area Chamber of Commerce Leadership Program. My class members in 2021 worked diligently to put this program together. 3 years later now, we are really starting to see the fruits of our labor.
Hit your stride, basically.
Yes, sir. Publicity is amazing. The buzz in the schools is really ramping up. We have volunteers that have been out promoting the program in all of the open houses that have taken place this week in Jackson County.
Nice.
And the thing that I really was impressed by and encouraged by is had several parents come up to me and ask about homeschoolers to participate in the program. So that's a big leap as far as publicity and notoriety, the exposure to the program. I think it's really great.
And I got to back up just a little bit. You mentioned Leadership Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Now, that is a program. It is, but it isn't, but it is separate from Junior Leadership.
You are absolutely
It's
correct.
along the same lines, sort of, kind of.
We modeled the Junior Leadership Jackson program along the same lines as the Leadership Jackson program for the area.
Now I'm going to put your feet to the fire. What is Leadership Jackson?
Leadership Jackson is a 12-month program, a community-based program that exposes the participants to all kinds of industry, economic development. It also exposes folks to public safety and the infrastructure, the things that someone that doesn't participate wouldn't get typical exposure to.
How the county is run, sort of, kind of.
That's correct. I mean, from the water treatment plants to the ag center to the courthouse, behind the scenes at the jail. It's really an exciting program, and I can promote that as well. I'm a proud graduate.
You're an alumnus.
I am, and we do have an alumni association, and it's something that is very worthwhile, and you build lifelong friendships as a sidebar of that.
Now, full disclosure, I am the current class of Leadership Jackson.
Congratulations.
The hazing has just begun.
Yeah, and you had your ceremony.
Our retreat.
And your inaugural ceremony dinner was last Thursday,
a week ago.
Right.
We shouldn't date the podcast, but it did happen.
Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you had a good experience for the first day, and I know Melissa Britt does an amazing job.
Is she not amazing?
Yep.
I hope she hears us talking well of her. I have found every time you can get Melissa brownie points, it's a good thing. You probably know the same feeling.
After serving 5 years on the leadership team for the Chamber of Commerce, I certainly know that Melissa Britt is an integral part of someone you need to keep happy.
Oh, that is true. But why wouldn't you want to? I'm just saying. Okay, down the rabbit hole. All right, Junior Leadership Jackson. It's basically 3 years old.
Yes, sir.
It's going into its, third, I guess?
We are starting the 2025 graduate
fourth.
program.
That will be the
this
fourth,
will be the fourth
one.
year. Yes, sir.
So what is the point, though? What is the point of it? Obviously, I know the generic answer is we're making an impact on young lives, and they're going to be better citizens. But there's 1,000,001 civic organizations do that.
When we developed the program, Thom, two things came out of it in our desire for the end result of the program. The first was to expose the program participants that there's more than just getting an education and getting out of Jackson County. You can actually get an education go to college or not go to college, and then you can live, work, and play here in Jackson County because of the amazing opportunities that a lot of these kids are not aware of. That's the first thing. We wanted to make sure that they knew that Jackson County is a place that you can raise a family and earn a decent living while you're also making impact on the community. Second, really focus of what our goal was while we were developing the program was to touch those kids, I'm going to say that, and I say that with due respect, those kids that need a little extra push, those kids that might be a little quieter than the current president of the Beta Club or the president of the FFA, somebody that kind of isn't at top of mind in everything in the front of school. This is a great program for those kids to get some exposure, to meet county leaders, to meet business leaders, to talk about economic development, and really see how Jackson County works, kind of behind the scenes, if you would, and get them excited about living here in Jackson County.
Now, you mentioned parents coming up to you asking about homeschools and private schools. First and foremost, this program is open to a high school student in Jackson County. We only have 3 school systems in Jackson County.
Correct.
We hold the record.
And we are
It's open to all of them.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's another benefit byproduct. All of the school systems are participating right now. So the kids that do participate, they get to meet students from other schools.
Cool.
And it's not just on the football field or adversarial sports relationships or debate class, whatever it might be. They actually form friendships with kids from other school systems. And it's really kind of neat to see as they go through the program how close they get. The program is open to juniors and seniors in all of the school systems, as well as the homeschool children. So we'd love to see some homeschool participants. And I think we're on the verge of welcoming some of those folks in.
Now, how does a student get involved? They go to a counselor. They say, "Hey, mom, hey, dad, make a call." How does a student? I know you have obviously a presence at the schools to let the students even know it exists. A student just decides. Is there a process?
Yes, sir. The counselors are a pretty strong gatekeeper. They can recommend the program. They're all fully aware of it. We've gotten the support of the superintendents as well as the principals and vice principals. So the counselors are exposed to it, and they do understand the program. But if you'd like to look it up, you can just Google Junior Leadership Jackson County, Georgia, and a Google page will come up, and it'll give you all the information you need, including where you might nominate a student, as well as apply for the position or apply for the program.
So there is a nomination process.
Nomination,
a selection process,
and application process.
Okay.
This year we're anticipating it being larger than last year. Last year we had 90 participants that were interested. 90 children, kids were interested in participating in the program, and we had 50 applications. Okay. So we accept 25 in each one of the programs.
Got you.
So it's pretty competitive.
It sounds like it.
By design, the second year kids gave us some feedback, of which we had 16 participants, and they said, "We love the program. One thing we would like is it to be more competitive." Everybody that applied was approved because there were only 16.
Right. Well, it's early.
It was the second year.
Right.
So with that, we took it, and we really promoted the program. And as I said, last year we had 50 applications, and we chose 25 to participate.
How about that? And that number's going to grow.
I imagine after Rush Week this week, we were at all of the high schools so far. Jefferson High School is tomorrow. We promote the program. We give lanyards away. We show them that they get a backpack. We talk about the field trips, if you would, that they take, the exposure, and really describe the program. And then now the onus is on them to actually fill out the application.
Of course.
And then we have a scoring program where we review the applications, and then those that do fill out the application come in for a group interview.
Okay.
So we have 3 or 4 sessions where they'll interview in front of certain community leaders, and they'll be looking for things like interactive, team building, natural leadership, inquisitive, whether or not the student's inquisitive.
Right.
All of those traits are scored on a rubrics, and the top 25 out of all the applicants will be chosen.
Well, I guess congratulations that the number is far exceeding the applications are far exceeding the number of spots available. That's bittersweet.
It is. We have some kids that probably are disappointed that they didn't get picked.
Oh, I'm sure.
But again, isn't that a learned lesson of life and
a teachable moment
and a leadership trait?
I think so.
You find that you don't succeed, but you do what? You get up and try again.
Well, you don't lose. You win and you learn.
That's
There's no
exactly
losing.
right.
There's no losing.
And as a part of the process, they're exposed to interviews and team building events, on the initial days. And on the initial day, it's really a neat process, and it's very pleasant for the kids. Yeah.
Good. I got to ask, are cell phones just banned from the whole process? I'm kidding. Tom's like, that's year 6. That's coming. No.
Yeah, that's going to be next year.
I hear you. Awesome. So a student gets involved. They're selected. They're part of the team, part of the class. What's in store for them? Do they have similar days like the Leadership Jackson program itself?
They do. And last year we had one day that we interacted with the Leadership Jackson program, and I believe it was Government Day. And the kids actually went to the opening session with the Leadership Jackson program. I'm not sure that we're going to do that again this year. There were 50 people in that session.
That's a lot of people.
It becomes a little difficult to manage.
Yeah.
So the kids are going to get exposure to, first and foremost, the first session is a team building session. It's really fun. We hire an outside consultant to run the day. They do projects together. They do solving problems together. They learn about each other, and it's a super fun day. I always enjoy going to that one day in particular. From there, we may do things like a session on economic development and infrastructure. Also, we may do a program for public safety, and I can give you examples of all of the sessions. For example, last year they went to the Jackson County water treatment plant. I don't know how many adults have ever stood over the treatment plant water and learned about what goes on, dispels any myths that you might have in learning about these things, that the infrastructure systems that are in place that we as normal residents don't every day get a chance to see. Public safety was awesome last year. Janice Mangum took them to the courthouse. They spoke with some of the judges. We have pictures of one of our participants in a judge's robe sitting on the bench.
Wow.
Then they were taken behind the court, and they saw the judge's quarters, and they saw that the holding pens where those folks that are coming up for trial are kept prior to them going for trial. I don't know if many people have seen that.
Hopefully they'll never see it again.
And hopefully that'll be the first and last time they see it.
That'll be an anomaly or something.
They get exposure to the jail. Janice did a great job of bringing them through the jail system, and everybody was super friendly, and it was eye-opening. It is eye-opening if you ever get a chance to do it. But as a young person, be able to go behind the scenes and see what transpires it's very impactful. We also had the history of Jackson County Day, which is really fun. Andy Garrison does a great job talking about the history of Jackson County and what's transpired here and how far we've come. We typically dovetail that into the nonprofit day, where we have local community leaders in our nonprofit organizations will come and tell them about their programs and how they assist people in Jackson County. So we're promoting that, giving back to the community as well. One of the more fun days that the kids have talked about is legislative day. They get a trip to the Capitol where they'll see a session in process, and they get to have lunch with their government representatives, folks like Houston Gaines and Chris Irwin and, of course, Frank Ginn. They always give their time for the kids to get exposure. Last year we were on the Senate in the balcony when the Senate was in session, and Frank Ginn had asked permission from the House leader for a special moment. He was able to recognize the kids for Junior Leadership Jackson.
Very cool.
In the middle of a Senate session, which is really good.
That is very cool.
Very nice.
Well, Frank's a class act.
He sure is.
We'll just put it out there.
They're always impressed when Frank gives out his phone number, which is
That's Frank.
pretty impressive, and that's him. Yeah.
Tom, we're going to take a real quick break and get in a community partner, and then you and I will get back to it, sir. One of our great community partners is Atomic Tent Shop. Atomic Tent Shop is your top-rated Metro Atlanta tent and detail shop, providing a one-stop shop with the best quality service and products at an affordable cost. Automotive tinting, full auto detail, paint correction, and ceramic coating. And don't forget their residential and commercial window tinting services. I should know, Atomic tinted our windows here at the studio. No more glare off the parking lot. Visit atomictentshop.com for more information. And while you're at it, visit our new website, negabrx.com, to see all our great community partners. Tom, you still there?
Yes, sir, I am.
Didn't run off on me.
Nope, I'm ready.
Hey, we got bills to pay. And I have to give a shout out. One, Atomic Tent Shop is awesome. They tinted the windows here in the studio because in certain times of the year, certain times of the day, the sun would be coming off the cars in the parking lot, and it would be blinding through those windows. I mean, like instant headache.
Well, I have to tell you, Tom, this is a very welcoming studio.
Thank you.
So if anybody's considering an interview or a podcast with Thom, I highly suggest it. He does a great job of making you feel comfortable. I haven't been too nervous so far.
Too nervous? Okay.
A little bit. But
How in the world is Tom Price ever nervous? I don't know. I've been around you a lot, man. When are you ever nervous? All right, what were we talking about? We're talking about leadership or junior leadership Jackson and all the different days that they go through. I think you have an economic day.
We do. It's one of my personal favorites. We get exposure to, of course, the Jackson County Area Chamber of Commerce Economic Development team, but we also get exposure to the individual mayors of the towns within Jackson County, and they talk about their potential future plans, what they see is happening in their communities. We talk to people like Kevin Poe, who's the Jackson County manager. We talk to folks with Gina Roy, who's the assistant manager. One of the features of that day is typically a session on personal finance. And I've done that in the last couple of years where I actually give the kids $10 each. And I congratulate them on their first payday.
Nice.
And then I ask them who drove a car here. And they all raise their hand, of course. And I take $2 away because the car insurance and gas, for example. And then I say, hey, who has a cell phone? And everybody raises their hand. I take another $1 away. So by the time I'm done asking the questions, most of them don't have any money left.
They're owing you money at that point.
That's correct. I might say that I do point out the very first thing. Congratulations, your first $10 paycheck. First thing I want you to do is take $1 and put it in your pocket and save it for yourself. And they all do, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And then from there, the money flows out like a sieve. And it's kind of it's a very quick life lesson on, man, things are expensive and you need to prepare for them. The things that may have mom and dad have paid for in your previous 16 years, they may not be paying for in your next 16 years.
Welcome to adulting, ladies and gentlemen.
A lot of these kids have never, ever talked about personal finance. I have a spreadsheet, Thom, that I congratulate them. I say, listen, you're going to be a superstar, and when you graduate college or when you get into your trade, you're going to make $25,000. And then I tell them about taxes, and I tell them about rent and electricity. And there's a spreadsheet that I fill out, and we say, how much you think you're going to spend on clothes? How much are you going to spend on food per each month? And then I slide the spreadsheet over to the end, and it's usually a negative number.
Oh, yeah.
The moral of the story is you can't save your way to greatness. There's only one way to make that red number, that negative number, a positive number. Either get a better education, get a better trade, and end up getting a better, higher-paying job.
That's right. Work your way up.
You can't save yourself to success.
That's true. No, I'm with you on that. Now, the students go through, how many of these days are there? Economic day, how many days are there?
So altogether for each program, there are 4 outings, if you would.
Outings, yeah.
And then we also have a choice of community service programs. So in order to graduate, they have to participate in 3 out of the 4 field trips, if you would. And by the way, they're excused absences, so they don't count against them.
I hope so. That's kind of counterproductive there.
And then they also participate in a community service. So regardless of what the program looks like, you always have a choice of community service. So last year we went out to iServe Ministries up in Commerce. And if anybody's not familiar with iServe Ministries, I would highly suggest looking into them. The kids assisted in passing out 30,000 pounds of food to more than 350 families in need in the community. Mm-hmm. And we did it in 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's a pretty amazing process. I took a few of the participants, the kids, and I walked out to the middle of the parking lot. And I said to them, do you all realize what's going on here? And they said, yes, Mr. Price, yeah, we're passing out food. This is great. And then I had them turn around and look at the families. Then all the way down past the Habitat Restore, around the corner, and up almost to where the rental place is in the front of the parking lot. 350 families waiting in line.
Yeah.
And they just looked at each other and said, wow,
yeah.
That's amazing. So It's super impactful. We also have an opportunity to serve food at one of the holiday dinner gatherings that put together by some of the community leaders. And there are other opportunities to participate for community service as well.
So you actually do have requirements for graduation. It's not just sign up and we'll see you in a few months.
That's correct.
That's cool.
The other important thing to note is that the cost of the program is $100. But through a grant by Jackson EMC, a very generous grant from Jackson EMC. That cost has been covered for the last 3 years, and again will be this year.
Yay.
Jackson EMC is an amazing partner. If you want an opportunity as the kids are listening, or mom and dad, if you're listening, if you'd like an opportunity for your child to get exposure to Jackson County, the leadership, the community leadership, the business leadership, this is a great program. It's 4 sessions. They typically go in the morning and they're done by 3 o'clock, so they won't miss any sports in the afternoon. It really gives them exposure to some of the strong leadership that we have in Jackson County. And the end result is they can finally walk away and realize, man, Jackson County is a great place.
Oh, yeah.
And if I go away and get an education, I really am going to consider coming back to Jackson County because there are many, many opportunities.
Well said, sir.
And I'm relatively new to Jackson County. I've been here about 5 years, transplanted from Hall County by way of Massachusetts, believe it or not. That was 20 years ago.
You've been all over, man.
We have just grown so fond and close to Jackson County. We just love the community. We love the vibe. We love really what the future potential is with Jackson County. And I'm just proud to be a part of the community.
Well, we're glad you're here, man.
Thank you.
Well, brother, if we got it in, Google, I take it, Google Junior Leadership Jackson?
That's correct.
Google that?
Or you can get on the Jackson County Area Chamber of Commerce, and there's a link in that facility, or you can just call the Chamber of Commerce and they can get you right to the Junior Leadership Program.
They'll get you in the right place.
Absolutely.
Just tell them Thom Price sent you.
Or you can call Visiting Angels and I can point you in the right direction as well.
There you go. A little plug for you. I hear you, man. Or they can talk to a counselor. Yes.
Of course.
Awesome. Because all the school systems are working together. I like that. Well, man, if we got it in, you're going to play my music, Thom. That means we got to wrap up.
Appreciate you having me here.
Thom Price, thank you for being here, man.
My pleasure.
You know you're always welcome. Folks, if you've got a high school student, you know one, maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's your niece, your nephew, Junior Leadership Jackson program. Learn how this amazing county works. Google it. I'm Tom Sheldon. Talk to you soon.
Savings goals keeping you up at night? Let a Regions banker help you build a Regions Greenprint plan, a free financial roadmap personalized for what matters to you. Start building your financial confidence. Visit Regions.com to find a branch near you. Regions Bank, member FDIC.